Real Talk with Mo. Glad you could join me. Back at it again. Check out www.cblifestyleapparel.com. Also check out www.cblifewellness.com, cblifeeveryday.com, doing more podcasts. Got a lot of things in the works, man. Trying to stay busy. You know, they say idle hands are the work of the devil. So as long as you stay busy, moving forward, trying to do different things, focusing, working hard on the things that you want to accomplish and following your dreams, I think everything is going to go very smoothly, right? That's just what life is about, man. So I want to talk, I just finished the 21K, Spartan 21K in New Jersey. It was rough. They call it the beast. It was a beast, for me especially. Training-wise, I did more cardio than anything. I think it's around 13 miles, something like 30 obstacles, 32 it said. I think it's like 30. Two of them are kind of, I think, don't count. But like jumping over the fire at the end is an obstacle, but I don't think that's an obstacle, really. So it was beast, and it was in New Jersey. It was in the mountains, going uphill, downhill, but not just hills. You got rocks, you got mud. You got to run through the water a few times. Water's cold. It's 60 degrees. Can't feel the bottom of your feet sometimes. Hands are cold. There's some mistakes I made. I would just tell people, you know what I mean? If I go through a tip at the end, I'll talk about it more. But things I would do differently. But it was fun, man. It was fun. There was a point where a lot of points where I was getting ready to just wanted to quit. The problem is, you're in the middle of the forest. Like, how are they gonna come save you? Like, who's gonna carry you out of here through the rocks and the hills and all that and get you to safety, type of thing. But I'm joking. But it was like those points where it's like, man, this is rough. So it was good though. When I did that, I finished. I did the 3 I wanted to do to get my little trifecta thing. To where I was, I did the 5K, the 10K, and the 21K. I did the 5K in Georgia. That's what, got me started. And then I did the 10K in Texas. And the 21K I did in Jersey. The 5K is only 3 miles, like 20 obstacles or 25 obstacles. It's not that bad. I would definitely, those 5Ks to me are like now they like seem easy after you do a 21, and then there's actually a 50K, which I wouldn't attempt, not right now. And then a 10K is 6 miles, something like that. That one I could do again easily too. 21K, like I said, man, it's just a long. The one that I went to in Jersey was a lot of up and down, and you got rocks. Right, and nothing is like, it's not a set path. You know what I mean? It's not like a path that's like it's natural, right? The rocks are where the rocks are. The trees are the way they are, right? Up and down. I know how. It's amazing. I would say this. I'll give a shout out to Spartan, man. Like the way they put together their races and stuff is amazing, right? I used to, when I first did it, you spend $100, you're thinking like, man, $100. I think they could probably charge more, right? They get a lot of volunteers, I guess, and everything, but the stuff they do at the race is pretty amazing, right? It's just a whole party atmosphere. Everybody's there. Everybody's, excited to do things, and they got music, and they got food, and they got sponsors giving away stuff, and it's just a pretty amazing experience, if anything. You know what I mean? And I give a shout out to Spartan because that was amazing. I enjoyed it a lot. My son did one. He did a little 2-mile open. It wasn't really competitive. He did that. It's just a great experience. The 21K, I'll just say this. Some things, if I could change to do over. I finished 4 hours and 53 minutes. I think the longest one, the last people to come in were around like 10 hours. And then the first people to come in were around like 3 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes. I think it was like the fastest time. So, you know, there's a difference. I'm kind of in the middle, right? So it's like, you know, only thing I said, you know, cardio. The hill, recreating the hills, especially in Florida, is hard for me. We don't really have hills. I have to go up a lot of like, and they're flat hills. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a hill with rocks and stuff like that I can think of in South Florida where I'm at. So that would be hard to recreate because that's really, I guess, a Stairmaster, running up a Stairmaster. I don't think you can recreate the rocks though. You know, there's some mistakes I made. My shoes were the wrong shoes, and that was a mistake I made. A dumb mistake. I brought the wrong shoes. I actually bought 2 right shoes, which was pretty stupid. But like my shoes, I had some good Solomon shoes. I brought 2 right shoes, a shoe that I used on my first race, a Solomon shoes I used on my second race, and then I had to go buy some Walmart shoes that I was slipping and sliding. And they were supposed to be all terrain and all this, but they were only like $30. And on my Solomon shoes, I spent like $140 or something like that. I should have just bought some shoes at the race, at the Spartan Race, but I thought I would be okay. I didn't know. I underestimated the race. I didn't know, you know, I think it was the first one where it was so many rocks and so much climbing and so much water, right? And it wasn't like that in my first 2 races. So now that I know, I'll look, you know, it'll be different. But bringing snacks was another thing I didn't do, right? Like a lot of people have snacks on the trail, little protein bars or little energy bars or stuff like that. I didn't bring anything. One thing I had on was my GoPro. I think my wife gave me a fruit snack when I first started. I ate that in like the first 2 miles, I think. I didn't have a hydration backpack like a lot of people had, even though the hydration stations were pretty good. I wish they could have had more. But they was pretty good. It wasn't, you know what I mean? I used them. Or maybe if they had bananas there or something for us, or yeah, they should have had the bananas instead of at the finish line. They should have had them throughout the race. That would have really helped. That's one thing I would say. Or them little fruit bars they had those throughout the race. That would have been great, to be honest with you. Because I ain't bring that. I had to actually ask a guy on the race. Thank you, whoever you are. If you see this video, appreciate it. He gave me a protein bar. He looked like he was like shocked that I asked him, but he was a cool guy, older gentleman. Gave me a protein bar, Quest bar, helped me, and that helped me. That gave me some energy to keep going. You know, it was rough, man. Then I would say, you know, most of the obstacles were okay. Like the Atlas ball, you know, you got to carry that big round stone up, you know, like you got to tear it down the path around the flag and back. There was another Atlas stone one that was like had a chain on it. That one was weird to hold, right? To carry, like it's hard to carry the chain and the stone between your legs, unless you I guess I could have lifted it up more, but then it would have been like bouncing on my stomach. That was a weird, like awkward one, especially to hold it by the chain and not hold it by the stone itself. So I would say that one was. I think about all of the monkey bars or the climbing ones where you had to swing, like not swinging, the ones that were like monkey bar type of things. Like they had a rotating monkey bar one, and then the monkey bars, and then they had one where it was like a straight spinning bar with handles on it, and you had to kind of grab that. Only thing I would say is, you know, glove wise, I don't really know. Like I had bought some of them at the Spartan Race, and they still didn't really work for me. Maybe because my fingers were out too. I had bought them where your fingers are out. Maybe I should have got full gloves because they didn't really give me any grip. I thought they would help me more. They didn't help me. My hands are more rough, you know, because of my profession. That I could just grab them barehanded. It was better. So that worked. That, you know, the gloves didn't work out. The gloves worked out on the ropes. Rope stuff was the gloves were helpful, especially traversing the field type of thing. That was helpful. which was a new one for me because I didn't see it in the 5K or the 10K. What else? There was the water ones with the water. Mud was mud. Like you stuck your foot in, it went up to your knee sometimes in mud. You can't really get around that. People tried to walk around the track or walk around the mud or try to go down. You still stepped in mud. There was no way you was gonna get that. It was meant for you to step in the mud and then walk with the mud on your feet. And we just kept going and stuff. So that was one. The sandbags. I would say that the sandbags and there was another sandbag, and then there was. I think the sandbag one was crazy too, because the sandbag one was a 60-pound sandbag for the men, and you had to walk up the hill and then walk down it, it was tough. It was tough because it's in the middle of the race. I'm thinking I want to say we're already 5 miles in, 6 miles in, and then we got to take that 60-pound, walk it up a hill and then go down. I tried to catch up speed or catch up at my pace when we were going downhill most of the time, almost like running, trying to run past people. But that's tricky too, because if you don't have good grip, man, you could slip and you're just tumbling. And also the rocks, some of them were going downhill, but you're going down in between rocks, on top of rocks. So that was a little tricky too. You got to be really careful with your balance, man. You got to have good, I think, ankle strength and your shins and all that has to be, tough, because going down here, your ankle moves all sorts of ways, right? Going down there, there's no way to keep your ankle straight up, and that it's gonna fold, it's gonna bend. You gotta make sure that you light on your feet and you're not don't fall into it. So that's one thing that I would say, because most of that stuff wasn't a problem for me. But like I said, it's 13 miles of up and down, high. The elevation is here and there, this and that. It never stopped too. I was thinking at one point, we're gonna start just moving downhill to get to the end, and it didn't stop. Like, it was by the end, even the ending, probably the last mile was up and then down. And then we went down, and and this was when I was already exhausted. We had the pail, carry the pail, the 5-gallon bucket full of rocks. We had to carry that up a hill and down a hill, and that was when a lot of people were sitting on the sides. Right? We were walking up, and you'll see people on each side sitting on top of their pail, taking a break, because that was the end of the race. But it was we was already 12 something miles in, and it was already going uphill again. Oh man, it was it was intense. It was intense. I had to, I tried to keep. I went through all of it. Then we did the rope, pulling yourself up. It's hard for me to I know there's techniques to that. I usually just muscle it with just my arms. But you gotta watch out. Your hands get tore up too. That's why I said I don't know the exact gloves. I'd have to test them out, because the gloves I had weren't gonna work for that. Even when you pulling the rope up, the anchor pull the rope, and it has the sandbag on it. My gloves didn't really help me in any of those situations. But you can tell at the end of my race and the end of the other races, which I'm gonna try to post a video. I only got an hour and 45 minutes in this race, and then I think on my other one I might have got the whole race. But you could tell the difference between those races, because when I come out jumping over the fire, I'm skying the fire. I'm going over the top of it. And this one, I'm barely getting over the fire, man. That thing beat me pretty bad. But it was fun, man. It was, for the most part, I would say it was fun. I feel like a kid, running through the trees and climbing stuff and jumping over stuff, and I like to stay active like that. So it was fun. Like I said, if I could do it over, or the tips I would give about it is, hydration backpack for you. Even though I was thinking it was gonna weigh me down in the end, just because you got to put in water into it, and I just think it'll help for you. And even if I'm thinking even maybe put some IV hydration or some type of something to give you a little bit more energy while you're running. Definitely some snacks in your pocket or something like that. Some protein bars or little, I don't know. It's got all sorts of types that you could use to give you a little boost, a little energy, a little bit of food, a little bit of carbs. So I would definitely say that for sure. Your cardio has to be up. You got to get your cardio up for sure. And if you're gonna go to a place that's mountainous, or you got, and another thing, look on the Spartan race that you pick, because I never look. I just pick. Most time when I pick the race, it's not even where it's at or what it is. It's most of the time what's more convenient for me, right? Like date wise, right? Is this the right dates that I can go do it, right? Because I got a busy schedule. So like if this is date fits, right? This date fit for me, October 1st. And then it's more of a how to get there, right? Because they got Spartan races all over the world, but like I don't want to leave the States to go do a race yet. I'm thinking about doing one eventually, because I would love to go like to another country and do it. But you're like I said, you gotta. I go off of like, all right, this is here. What's the price of these tickets here? Because me and my family, so I'm not gonna spend like $900 to fly somewhere when I can spend $100 and go 300 for all of us to go somewhere. So I look into that too. So I didn't look so my whole point is when I picked it, I didn't look into the because they have a thing on most of them where it tells you it'll give you like it'll give you these different like elevation, like I guess I don't remember all of the scaling, but it was like a scaling of this race versus this race versus this race, right? And it'll give you like 3 Spartans or 4 Spartans is like high elevation, and 4 Spartans in endurance or whatever it is. So if you look at that, you'll kind of see how bad. I think it matters about the track and the how it's gonna be, how bad it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like if it was low elevation, then you're not gonna be going up and down. It's gonna be pretty flat. You know what I mean? Or endurance or whatever it is that shows you, you'll kind of do. I didn't look at it, but New Jersey was like all the way up. Everything was up, and I didn't notice that until I got there, and we were at the mountain resort, and it was kind of my fault. But those are the tips I would give. I say cardio. Physically, for me, my job is physical, so it's a little different. But you got to work on your body strength. I don't think you got to be really like strong. Like I wouldn't say work out and go bench press and do all this. It's more about lifting your own body weight. So like for me, I would say like dips and pull-ups, push-ups. Like you might want to get a little stronger just so you could pull yourself up. Maybe reenact some of the Spartan rate of the obstacles like you can see online. But for the most part, I would say like if you can lift your body weight easily, then you'll be good, because most of it's climbing, most of it's jumping up and grabbing something and then being able to have to lift your body. That's what I see a lot of people have a problem with: running, grabbing, like grabbing the top and then pulling their body weight up. That was where people were like struggling. Climbing up the cargo net, coming down. So I would say that work on cardio for sure. I think cardio is probably more important, just because it's a long 21K is like 13 miles, so it's a long run. If it's cold weather, it's different. Like I had cold weather, I had long like under armor stuff on, pants and a shirt, and then I had my pants over the top of that, and then I had my shirt over the top of that, my CB Lifestyle champion performance shirt. Check us out, cblifestyle.com. So I had that on there. So it was pretty warm. But you're gonna jump in the water. So like at the end of the day, you jump in the water, you cold. So I don't even know if that if that even matters for this. You just gotta be prepared. You gotta be a warrior. You just gotta go out there and do it. So it was fun. Like I would do it again if I, especially with a group. I think a group would be fun. Or a 5K, 10K. I think at 5K I can knock out really easy. I might be able to even. I'm thinking like maybe compete with that 5K, because I think I could do a 5K. I think I could knock out a 5K for sure, like with a better time than I had before. Because I forgot my time, but it was good. But I finished this time in the 20 percentile. I would have liked to have done better, but like I said, I wasn't prepared. Like I didn't prepare enough for it. I didn't understand it well enough, I don't think. like what was going, like how far it was, and this elevation was crazy. Like the up and down was pretty crazy. But if you have any comments or you have any questions or whatever, you could, on YouTube, catch me on my Instagram, Real Talk with Mo. And we'll see you on the next one.